You don't have to do this, Joe. You really don't. That's the vote of confidence Barack Obama gives to his former vice president and now current Democratic nomination hopeful, Joe Biden. This was reported by multiple news sources. I'm quoting here from Vanity Fair. I'll share a couple excerpts as we go on. But it basically shows that Barack Obama, behind the scenes, has been very concerned about Joe Biden's campaign. I think he's concerned that Joe Biden might not be able to handle the stress of the campaign. He feels that Joe Biden is trying to run to save his legacy and to prove he can do it more than a sincere desire to enact positive change. Obama basically says here that you don't have to do this. I mean, you don't have to prove anything, Joe. Like, please don't. But more than, thinking that this is simply Barack Obama looking out for his pal, saying like, Joe, you don't have to do this, but basically saying, I'll support you if you do. The piece goes on to note that Obama had met with some of Joe Biden's key advisors, and he suggested that the team around Joe is too sclerotic and is too old and is too old-fashioned and too out of touch. And he worries about Joe doing such a bad job that it'll not only, he'll not only not win the nomination, but he'll hurt his legacy in the process. This is a disastrous quote for Joe Biden. Though it's not Obama saying, I don't support you, Joe, I don't want you to run, Joe, it's a bad idea for you to run, Joe. The subtext is that Obama doesn't think this is a good idea. And that he's still friends with Joe and he still respects Joe, but he's really worried about the effect of this campaign on Joe Biden and his legacy. It's a terrible, terrible thing for Joe Biden because what Joe Biden has, more than anything, is the aura of Obama. Obama left office relatively popular. And since the rise of Trump and all that entails, Obama has become a point of nostalgia for a lot of people, especially Democrats, especially party loyalists, who for all the faults of Obama, and there are many, is looked upon as this halcyon age lost in the dark ages of Trump. And of course, as we know, in the final days of the Obama presidency, as Trump was coming to office, we had all the Biden bro memes and how fun those were. And Biden, I think, got this resurgence of popularity. And it was felt that he was going to go at it again and that he was going to be the standard bearer for the Obama years. He was going to carry forward the good work Barack Obama had done and, be a bulwark against the Bernie Sanders wing of the party that was seen as trying to supersede Obama's legacy. But this sort of remark really puts into doubt whether Obama supports Joe Biden at all. Certainly it puts into doubt whether Barack Obama thinks Joe Biden should do this or can do this, but it raises the question, why would Obama suggest Joe doesn't have to do it? And the answer is that Obama feels that there's at least one or two or three other people in this race that can be a credible challenger to Trump. If Obama believed that Biden was the only one, then Obama probably wouldn't say this. But Barack Obama is worried about his pal, and he thinks, well, there's other people who can do it. Why take this riskier legacy and this riskier health and on and on and on to run for president? It's not an endorsement at all. And a lot of Biden's success, a lot of his base comes from those former Obama voters. Despite the fact that there are two African Americans running in this contest, Joe Biden is doing well amongst African Americans, and I think that has something to do with his ties to Obama. And Joe Biden doesn't have a whole lot else to run on. Joe Biden has a long career. Certainly. You can make no qualms and say Joe Biden has no experience. But Joe Biden's personal legacy is checkered at best. His legacy on race is checkered. His previous run in the 1980s ended due to plagiarism. He had a largely uneventful run, when Obama did. I mean, what is Joe Biden really, besides a very troubled political figure, except for the fact that he was Obama's vice president? And I honestly can't think of anything. His legacy is a bad one. His legacy is a conservative one. His legacy in some ways is a regressive one. His legacy is everything that the Democratic Party is shifting against, except for the fact that he was Obama's vice president, that he was the vice president to the most popular, figure in modern Democratic Party history. He was the vice president to the first African American president in American history, and that's his meal ticket. If he loses that, I wonder what else does he have and I can't say he has very much. So I think Joe Biden should follow Barack Obama's advice, and maybe he should consider stepping aside, or at the very least, doing a real introspective look about why he's running for president and if it's worth it in any way.